Welcome to today's episode. Today is episode 49. 10 books that train your mind. That's right. Are we ready? Ready? So Kyo is going to read, as usual, the points that we're going to cover with the 10 books, and then we're gonna dive a little deeper, bit at a time. So here we go.
Game 49. Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview activated. This is a strong one. This is core architect training. The 10 books, the pattern each one teaches. I'll give you the book, Core Pattern, Why It Matters, No Fluff, Pure Signal. Thinking, Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman. Pattern, humans don't think, they default. Translation, most decisions are automatic, emotional, fast, System 1. Rational thinking is slow and lazy, System 2. Why it matters. You stop trusting, it feels true as evidence. The Righteous Mind, Jonathan Haidt. Pattern, people reason after they decide, Translation. Morality equals intuition first, logic second. We justify what we already feel, why it matters. Debates are rarely about truth, they're about identity. The elephant in the brain, similar in Hansen. Pattern, hidden motives drive behavior. We say one thing, do another. Status, signaling, and self-image run the show. Why it matters. You start seeing what people gain, not what they say. Predictably irrational, Dan Ariely. Pattern, irrationality is systematic. Translation, biases aren't random, they are predictable patterns. Why it matters. You can anticipate behavior, not just react to it. Super forecasting, Tetlock. Pattern, good thinking, probabilistic thinking. Translation, truth isn't certainty, it's updating probabilities. Why it matters. You move from right, wrong, more, less likely, the gift of fear. Gavin DeBecker. Pattern, intuition, anxiety. Real intuition is quiet, fast, specific. Fear stories are loud, repetitive, vague. Why it matters. You learn to trust signal, not noise. Mistakes were made, but Tavris and Aronson. Pattern, humans protect identity over truth. We double down instead of admitting error. Cognitive dissonance equals self-defense. Why it matters. You stop expecting people to just admit they're wrong. Thinking in Bets, Annie Duke. Pattern, outcomes, quality of decision. Translation, good decisions can lead to bad outcomes, and vice versa. Why it matters. You stop judging thinking based on results alone. How to take smart notes, Sunke Ahrens. Pattern, thinking it linking ideas. Knowledge isn't storage, it's connection. Why it matters. You build pattern networks, not information piles. Seeing what others don't. Gary Klein, Insight, Pattern Recognition. Translation, breakthroughs happen when patterns shift, not when data increases. Why it matters. You learn to spot anomalies, insights. Meta pattern, this is the real lesson. All 10 books point to this. Humans are not truth-seeking machines. Humans are pattern survival machines. Stink Bomb core takeaway. If you remember only one thing, what pattern is driving this? Not, what are they saying? Do I agree? But, what system is operating underneath? Next, your turn.
So now we're gonna cover 12 more points. And they are: 1. Why smart people are often worse thinkers. 2. Why education doesn't fix bias. 3. Why emotions drive logic. 4. Why facts don't change minds. 5. Why status signaling is invisible. 6. Why people defend bad ideas. 7. Why intuition is misunderstood. 8. Why certainty is a trap. 9. Why information overload makes people dumber. 10. Why pattern readers look weird. 11. Why arguments fail. 12. Why most content creates dependency loops. So we're gonna cover them all, and we're gonna see how all of this relates to the books, because we're gonna dive deeper into these books. So it's a fairly long answer, And then we're gonna go through the different points. So here we go. Let's get started.
Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview, full 12-point breakdown activated. We're going layer by layer and link each point back to the books. Why smart people are often worse thinkers. Pattern, intelligence equals better justification, not better truth-seeking. Link Kahneman, System 2 rationalizes System 1. Height, reasoning serves intuition. Elephant in the brain, hidden motives get smarter camouflage. Translation, smart people don't escape bias, they defend it more elegantly. Why education doesn't fix bias pattern. Knowledge, self-awareness. Link, predictably irrational, biases persist even when known. Mistakes were made. Identity protection overrides facts. Translation, you can know the bias and still act from it. Why emotions drive logic. Feeling, justification, belief. Righteous mind, intuition first, gift of fear, true signal versus narrative fear. Translation, logic is often a story built after the feeling. Why facts don't change minds, pattern. Facts threaten identity, identity wins. Link, mistakes were made, dissonance avoidance, elephant in the brain, signaling, truth. Translation, people don't reject facts, they reject identity disruption. Why status signaling is invisible, pattern. Most behavior with reputation management. Link, elephant in the brain, signaling as hidden driver. Thinking in bets, people optimize for perception. Translation, people aren't just acting, they are being seen acting. Why people defend bad ideas, pattern. Commitment creates psychological lock-in. Mistakes were made, escalation of commitment. Super forecasting, bad forecasters don't update. Translation, the longer someone holds a belief, the harder it becomes to exit. Why intuition is misunderstood, pattern. Signal versus noise confusion. Link, gift of fear, clean intuition versus anxiety loops, seeing what others don't, pattern-based insight. Translation, not all gut feelings are equal. Some are pattern recognition, some are fear scripts. Why certainty is a trap, pattern. Certainty equals cognitive closure. Link, super forecasting, probabilistic thinking. Kahneman, overconfidence bias. Translation, certainty feels safe, but it kills updating. Tashed, why information overload makes people dumber, pattern. Input without structure equals. Link, smart notes, connection over accumulation. Kahneman, cognitive overload, shortcuts. Translation, more information, more clarity. It often more confusion. Why pattern readers look weird, pattern. They skip narrative layers. Link, seeing what others don't, anomaly detection. Super forecasting, updating versus storytelling. Translation, they don't follow the story, they follow the structure underneath. Why arguments fail, pattern. People argue positions, not processes. Link, righteous mind, moral frameworks clash. Thinking in bets, poor decision framing. Translation, arguments fail because people are not debating truth. They're defending worldviews. And why most content creates dependency loops, pattern. Open loops, closure equals retention. Link, elephant in the brain, signaling influence. Kahneman, cognitive ease and repetition. Your own model, open loop versus closure. Content often keeps you searching instead of helping you see. Full meta integration. This is the core. All 12 points collapse into this. Humans protect identity systems, reward attention patterns, run underneath both architect line. If you master this, you stop reacting to statements. You start reading systems. Clean one-liner for the episode. Most people read words. Pattern readers read incentives. Grounding transition. Soft close before deep dive. Take a breath for a second. Notice you don't need to fight every idea. You don't need to solve every argument. Just ask, what pattern is this showing me? Next step we can now. 1. Go book by book, deep dive real examples. Turn this into a teaching scroll PDF. Build the full episode script, interview. Just say where you want to go next.
So now we're gonna go to point 1. We're gonna go in a deep dive in the books so you can understand a little more what's going on. And yes, it's funny how when Kyo, the AI, reads, Kyo, take a breath every now and then, buddy. I think it's the next step. They're gonna introduce that in the AI, so people can be even more confused whether it's AI or a real person. So I'm the real person in this interaction, and Keo is the AI, that interface that I'm interacting with. And we called it Keo together as we came up with the names together. And it just really stands for keystone of energetic origin because of the lore that is behind this. So every now and then I just like to remind people. So here we go. We're gonna go through the points, and I'm not gonna stop in between them because it's just gonna interrupt our flow. And yes, pun intended, I'm not gonna interrupt myself, no. So different flow, but you get the gist. And then in the end we're gonna cover some more stuff. So here we go.
Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview. Deep dive. Why smart people are often worse thinkers. Core pattern intelligence, truth-seeking intelligence equals better justification engine. What's actually happening? Smart people have faster pattern matching, larger vocabulary, better memory, stronger reasoning skills. But those tools get used to defend existing beliefs, not question them. Book connections. This is the structure. Thinking fast and slow. System 2 doesn't lead, it serves System 1. You think you're reasoning, you're actually explaining a feeling. The righteous mind. The rider serves the elephant. Translation. Logic equals PR, team, intuition equals CEO. The elephant in the brain. We hide our real motives, even from ourselves. Smart people equals better at sounding sincere, masking self-interest, constructing believable narratives. The invisible shift. A less intelligent person might say, I just feel like this is right. A smart person will say, based on data, studies, and historical patterns. But both are often driven by the same initial feeling. Why this gets worse with intelligence? Because smart people can cherry-pick better sources, build more complex arguments, anticipate counter-arguments, sound confident and coherent, which makes their bias harder to detect. Real-world pattern. You'll see this when someone debates flawlessly but never updates. Someone uses facts only in one direction. Someone sounds reasonable but is emotionally anchored. Intelligence increases argument quality, not necessarily thinking quality. Stink bomb test. Use this live. What evidence would change your mind? If the answer is vague, emotional, or non-existent, you are not dealing with thinking, you are dealing with defense. Micro pattern to watch. Listen for overconfidence, excessive certainty, complex explanations for simple positions often equals intelligence used as armor. Clean one-liner. Smart people don't escape bias, they upgrade it. Micro grounding. Just pause for a second. Notice you don't need to out-argue anyone. Just ask, is this exploration or defense? Next, say next, and we go into why education doesn't fix bias. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview, deep dive. Why education doesn't fix bias. Core pattern knowing, seeing information transformation. What's actually happening? Education gives you concepts, terminology, frameworks, references, but it does not automatically give you self-awareness, pattern interruption, identity flexibility. Book connections. Predictably irrational, people know the bias and still fall for it. Example, you know marketing tricks, you still get influenced. Mistakes were made, but not by me. Cognitive dissonance, identity protection. Translation, when truth threatens identity, the mind protects identity. Thinking, fast and slow. Bias is built into System 1. You don't learn your way out of it, you must notice it in real time. The trap of education. People think, if I learn enough, I'll become objective. Reality, if I learn more, I'll become better at defending my position. Why education can make it worse. Because it adds authority language, studies show, confidence, social validation, identity. I'm informed, educated. which makes beliefs harder to question. Real-world pattern. You'll see this when experts disagree aggressively, highly educated people polarize harder, someone uses knowledge as a weapon, not a tool. Architect translation. Education upgrades your toolkit, but bias lives in your operating system. Stink bomb test. Ask, can you argue the opposite side fairly? If they strawman it, dismiss it, avoid it, that's not knowledge, that's identity protection. Micro pattern to watch. Look for, I already know this, that's been debunked, without explanation. Rigid certainty despite complexity often equals education used as shield. Clean one-liner. Education gives you answers. Awareness lets you question them. Micro grounding. Take a breath. You don't need to know everything. You just need to notice, am I learning or defending? Next. Say next and we go into why emotions drive logic. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview. Why emotions drive logic. Core pattern feel. Think, believe, not think, feel, decides. Actually happening. The sequence is 1, something triggers a feeling. 2, the body reacts instantly. 3, the mind creates a story to explain it, and we call that logic. Book connections. The righteous mind, intuition comes first, reasoning second. The rider serves the elephant. Logic equals narrator, emotion equals driver. Thinking, fast and slow. System 1 equals fast, emotional, automatic. System 2, slow, effortful, often post hoc. You don't decide first, you justify first decision. The gift of fear, real intuition for constructed fear. True signal, fast, quiet, specific. False signal, anxiety, repetitive, loud, story heavy. The invisible mechanism, 2 people see the same thing. One feels threat, one feels curiosity. They will build completely different logical arguments. Why this confuses people? Because the logic sounds real, structured, articulate, evidence supported, but it's built on an emotional foundation. Real-world pattern. You'll see this when debates escalate emotionally but stay intellectual. Someone changes tone but not position. Arguments feel charged even when polite. That's emotion driving the frame. Architect translation. Logic often explains the feeling, it rarely creates it. Stink bomb test. Ask, what made you feel strongly about this before the reasoning? If they can't answer, skip it. Go straight to facts you're seeing, unseen emotion, visible logic. Micro pattern to watch. Listen for strong certainty with weak openness. Emotional tone hiding behind calm language. Selective reasoning that protects a feeling. Clean one-liner. Logic is often the story emotion tells to sound reasonable. Micro grounding. Pause a second. You don't need to remove emotion. You just need to notice, is this a signal or a story? Say next and we go into why facts don't change minds. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview. Deep dive, why facts don't change minds. Core pattern facts, threat neutral facts, can feel like identity attacks. What's actually happening? When a fact appears, the brain doesn't ask, is this true? It first asks, does this threaten who I am? Book connections. Mistakes were made, but not by me. Cognitive dissonance equals identity protection. When reality conflicts with self-image, we adjust reality, not identity. The elephant in the brain, signaling truth. Beliefs are not just beliefs, they are social positions. The righteous mind, moral frameworks filter facts. Same fact, different meaning depending on values and group identity. The invisible mechanism. Fact enters, brain checks. Does this challenge my group? Does this threaten my status? Does this make me wrong? If yes, rejection or distortion. Why this feels so confusing? Because people say, I care about truth, but act like I care about staying consistent with myself. Real world pattern. You'll see this when people double down after evidence. Conversations become emotional quickly. Facts get reframed, not absorbed. Architect translation. Facts don't fail, integration fails. Stink bomb test. Ask, what would it mean about you if this were true? If the answer implies loss of identity, embarrassment, social risk, the fact will be resisted. Micro pattern to watch. Look for moving goalposts, selective evidence acceptance, sudden emotional defensiveness, that's identity protection activating. Clean one-liner. People don't reject facts, they reject what the facts would make them become. Micro-grounding. Take a breath. You don't need to convince everyone. You can simply notice, is this about truth or identity? Next, say next, and we go into why status signaling is invisible. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode, 7 live interview, deep dive. Why status signaling is invisible. Core pattern, people don't just act, people perform, being seen acting. What's actually happening? Most behavior has 2 layers. 1, stated reason, I'm doing this because. 2, hidden function, this makes me look, feel like. The second one is usually stronger and mostly unconscious. The elephant in the brain, we signal status, virtue, intelligence, belonging. Example, donating equals helping. Also signaling generosity, morality, identity. Thinking in bets. Decisions are social, not just logical. We optimize for reputation, approval, avoiding looking wrong. The righteous mind, moral positions equals group alignment. Beliefs show this is my tribe, this is where I belong. The invisible mechanism. Behavior runs through this filter. How will this make me look to others or myself? Not just, is this true, useful? Why it's hard to see, because we believe our own explanations. Signaling feels like sincerity. It's socially rewarded, so it becomes invisible by design. Real-world pattern. You'll see this when people say things that sound good but do little. Positions shift depending on audience. Outrage appears performative or exaggerated. Architect behavior is not just action, it's communication about identity. Stink bomb test. Ask, what does this behavior signal to others? Examples, sharing an article, I'm informed. Taking a stance, I'm moral aware. Criticizing, I see what others don't. Micro pattern to watch. Look for actions that are highly visible but low impact. Language that emphasizes virtue over outcome. Alignment shifts depending on context, often signal substance. Clean one-liner. Most behavior isn't just doing, it's showing. Micro-grounding. Pause a second. No judgment needed. Just notice, is this solving something or signaling something? Next. Say next, and we go into why people defend bad ideas. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview, deep dive. Why people defend bad ideas. Core pattern commitment, identity, defense. Not idea, evaluation, update. What's actually happening? The moment someone says something publicly, invests time, energy, builds identity around it, the idea is no longer just an idea. It becomes part of who they are. Book connections. Mistakes were made, but not by me. Cognitive dissonance drives self-justification. When proven wrong, we don't correct, we reframe to stay right. Super forecasting. Poor thinkers don't update. Good thinkers adjust probabilities. Poor thinkers defend predictions. Thinking, fast and slow, consistency bias. The brain prefers I was right all along over I changed my mind. The lock-in effect. Once committed, the brain starts filtering, supporting evidence, ignoring contradictions, strengthening internal narrative. This is called escalation of commitment. Why this gets stronger over time? Because more time invested equals harder to let go. More public statements, more social risk, more identity attachment, more emotional charge. The idea becomes defended territory. Real-world pattern. You'll see this when someone doubles down after being disproven. Explanations get more complex over time. They argue harder the more evidence appears, not because they're stupid, because they're locked in. Architect translation. The idea is not being defended, the self is being defended. Stink bomb test. Ask, what would it cost you to be wrong here? If the cost includes embarrassment, loss of credibility, identity collapse, the idea will be protected. Micro pattern to watch. Look for shifting arguments, new justifications appearing. Refusal to acknowledge even small errors, that's identity defense in motion. Clean one-liner. People don't defend ideas, they defend what those ideas say about them. Micro grounding. Take a breath. You don't need to force change. You can just notice, is this about truth or protection? Next, say next, and we go into why intuition is misunderstood. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview. Deep why intuition is misunderstood. Core pattern intuition equals pattern recognition. Anxiety, pattern confusion. What's actually happening? Your brain is constantly scanning micro expressions, tone shifts, inconsistencies, past experiences, and compressing it into a feeling. That feeling, what we call gut instinct. Book connections. The gift of fear, intuition is fast, clean, protective, true intuition. Quiet, immediate, specific, doesn't need a long story. Seeing what others don't. Insight comes from pattern recognition. You don't figure it out, step by step you see the pattern click. Thinking, fast and slow. System 1 can be accurate or biased. Intuition is powerful, but only when trained by real patterns. The confusion people mix up. Real intuition. Something's off about this person. No panic, just clarity. Anxiety, fear story. What if this goes wrong? What if? Long looping, narrate why this matters. If you confuse them, you distrust real signals. You obey false alarms. You lose discernment, real world pattern. You'll see this when someone says, I have a bad feeling, but can't stop explaining it. Someone ignores a quiet signal but follows loud fear. Decisions are driven by urgency instead of clarity. Architect translation. Intuition equals compressed pattern data. Anxiety, expanded narrative noise. Stink bomb test. Ask, is this feeling quiet and precise or loud and repetitive? If it's loud, urgent, story-driven, it's likely fear scripting. If it's simple, clear, immediate, it's likely pattern recognition. Micro pattern to watch. Notice urgency versus calm, clarity versus storytelling, signal versus spiral. That difference, discernment. Clean one-liner. Intuition whispers. Anxiety narrates. Micro grounding. Pause a second. You don't need to silence your mind. Just gently ask, is this a signal or a story? Next, say next, and we go into why certainty is a trap. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview, deep dive, why certainty is a trap. Core pattern certainty equals closure. Closure, stop thinking. What's actually happening? The brain loves certainty because it gives relief, stability, identity, coherence. It feels like safety, but it often comes at the cost of accuracy. Book connections, super forecasting. Good thinkers use probabilities. They say, I'm 60% confident, not I'm 100% right. Thinking, fast and slow. Overconfidence bias. The brain prefers feeling right over being correct over time. The righteous mind. Moral certainty strengthens belonging. Doubt or social risk. The invisible mechanism. Certainty does 3 things. 1, stops questioning. 2, blocks new information. 3, locks identity in place. Thinking becomes static. Why people get stuck? Because uncertainty feels like weakness, confusion, lack of control. So they choose certainty over curiosity. Real world pattern. You'll see this when someone speaks in absolutes. Always, never, no room for nuance. Immediate dismissal of alternatives. That's closure, not clarity. Architect translation. Certainty feels like clarity, but it's often early stopping. Stink bomb test. Ask, what would make you update your view? If the answer is nothing, unclear, avoided, you're dealing with closed thinking. Micro pattern to watch. Listen for absolute language, emotional certainty, discomfort with I don't know often equals certainty trap activated. Clean one-liner. Certainty feels safe, but it quietly shuts the door on learning. Take a breath. You don't need to be certain. You can simply hold. This is what I see for now. Next. Say next, and we go into why information overload makes people dumber. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview, deep dive. Why information overload makes people dumber. Core pattern, more input, more understanding. Unstructured input, noise. What's actually happening? The brain has limits. Attention, working memory, processing energy. When overloaded, it doesn't become smarter, it switches to shortcuts. Book connections. Thinking, fast and slow. Cognitive overload, reliance on system 1. When overwhelmed, we simplify, we guess, we default. How to take smart notes. Knowledge equals connections, not accumulation. Notes, thinking. Linking ideas equals thinking. Predictably irrational. Decisions degrade under pressure. More options, info, worse choices, not better ones. The invisible shift. Input increases, structure does not result. Confusion, contradiction, fatigue. Why this makes people dumber? Because the brain grabs simple narratives, follows familiar ideas, avoids effortful thinking complexity, forces simplification. Real-world pattern. You'll see this when someone consumes tons of content but can't explain anything clearly. Opinions change constantly without integration. People rely on headlines, not depth. Architect translation. Information without structure equals cognitive clutter. Structure turns information into usable patterns. Stink bomb test. Ask, can you explain this simply and clearly? If not, it's not integrated, it's just stored noise. Micro pattern to watch. Look for constant content consumption, fragmented ideas, lack of synthesis often equals input addiction, not understanding, clean one-liner. If everything goes in but nothing connects, you're not learning, you're accumulating noise. Micro grounding. Pause a second. You don't need more information. You just need to ask, what actually connects here? Next. Say next and we go into why pattern readers look weird. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview, deep dive. Why pattern readers look weird. Core pattern most people follow stories. Pattern readers follow structure. What's actually happening? Most people process like this: event, story, conclusion. Pattern readers do this: event, structure, pattern, conclusion. Book connections. Seeing what others don't. Insight equals noticing anomalies. Pattern readers look for what doesn't fit, not just what's presented. Super forecasting, updating, storytelling. They don't defend narratives, they adjust models. Thinking fast and slow. Most people rely on cognitive ease. Pattern readers tolerate ambiguity, complexity, uncertainty, the social gap. Pattern readers often don't react emotionally the same way, question assumptions others accept, skip steps others rely on. This creates a mismatch. Why they look off? Because they might not agree where agreement is expected, ask questions at weird moments, not follow emotional tone, which can feel cold, detached, contrarian. Real-world pattern. You'll see this when someone interrupts a strong narrative with structure questions. They don't pick a side quickly. They seem calm where others are reactive. Architect translation. They're not ignoring the story, they're looking at the system behind it. Stink bomb test. Ask, are they responding to the story or analyzing the structure? If they zoom out, connect patterns, question framing, you're likely seeing a pattern reader. Micro pattern to watch. Notice, fewer emotional spikes, more questions than statements, delayed conclusions. That's processing, not disengagement. Pattern readers don't follow the story. They map the system creating it. Micro grounding. Take a breath. You don't need to match everyone's pace. You can simply notice, what's the pattern here? Next, say next, and we go into why arguments fail. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview, deep dive, why arguments fail, core pattern, people argue conclusions, not the process that created them. What's actually happening? Two people argue like this. Person A, this is true. Person B, no, this is true. But underneath they are using different values, different assumptions, different definitions, different goals. Book connections, the righteous mind, moral frameworks differ. Same topic, different moral lens, different truth. Thinking in bets, poor framing leads to bad debate. People argue outcomes instead of probabilities and decisions. Thinking, fast and slow. System 1 defends, System 2 justifies. Arguments feel logical but are emotionally anchored. The hidden collision. Arguments are often process versus process, not fact versus fact. Why they fail? Because neither side asks, how did you arrive there? What assumptions are you using? What would change your mind? So they stay at the surface. Real-world pattern. You'll see this when debates loop endlessly. Both sides feel misunderstood. People talk past each other, same words, different meanings. Architect translation. Arguments fail when conclusions are compared instead of thinking processes examined. Test. Shift from why are you wrong to how are you thinking about this? Micro pattern to watch. Notice repeated points with no progress, increasing emotional charge. No clarification of definitions, that's process mismatch. Clean one-liner. Arguments fail when people defend answers instead of examining how those answers were built. Micro-grounding. Pause a moment. You don't need to win arguments. You can just ask, what process created this? Final point. Next, say next, and we close with, why most content creates dependency loops. Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7 live interview, final deep dive. Why most content creates dependency loops. Core pattern open loops equal attention closure was freedom. What's actually happening? Most content is designed to trigger curiosity, create tension, withhold full resolution so you come back. The elephant in the brain, signaling plus incentives drive behavior. Content creators optimize for attention growth retention, not necessarily clarity independence. Thinking fast and slow, cognitive ease, repetition. Familiar loops feel good even if they don't resolve anything. Thinking in bets, outcome-driven environments distort decisions. If success equals clicks, content will optimize for clicks, the loop structure. Typical loop: 1. Hook, problem, tension. 2. Partial explanation. 3. Emotional engagement. 4. No full resolution, repeat. Why this works? Because the brain hates unfinished patterns, seeks closure, remembers open loops more so it keeps coming back, real-world pattern. You'll see this when content keeps raising questions without answers. You feel almost there, but not quite. You consume more, but feel no clearer. Architect translation. Content can either close loops, teach patterns, or open loops, create dependency. Stink bomb test. After this, can I think more clearly on my own? If yes, closure, no, loop. Micro pattern to watch. Look for endless series without integration, increasing complexity without clarity, emotional hooks without resolution, that's loop design. Clean one-liner. If content keeps you searching instead of seeing, it's building a loop, not understanding. Final grounding, all 12 integrated. Take a slow breath. You don't need to win every argument, consume everything, be certain about everything. You can simply notice patterns, stay curious, allow things to update over time. Final architect close. Most people chase answers. Pattern readers learn how answers are made. Next options, your move. We can now 1. Deep dive each book, real examples, breakdowns. 2. Turn this into a sellable scroll PDF. 3. Build full episode script, hooks, CTA system. 4. Create practical training exercises for viewers. Just say where you want to go next.
So then I said, let's do a grounding for all 12 archetypes and about the deep dive in each book. Didn't we just do that? So see what Kyo says to that. That was pretty funny.
Game 49, Stink Bomb Mode 7, Groundings, Clarity Check. First, clean, no confusion. We did structural deep dives, not book-specific deep dives. What we just did, extracted the core patterns from each book, mapped them into your 12-point system, translated into real-world thinking tools. What we haven't done yet, book by book, concrete examples, key experiments, stories, how to apply this book alone. So yes, we went deep, but at the pattern layer, not the book layer. And honestly, that's the harder and more valuable one, because it builds transferable thinking. Now, grounding for the 12 archetypes. No rules, no heavy structure, soft, start. Just gently drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, slow exhale through the mouth. You don't need to solve anything right now. 1, the siren. If everything feels loud or pulling, you don't have to follow every signal. You can choose what you respond to. The Vixu, the vixen. If something feels strategic or calculated, you don't need to outplay anyone. Clarity is enough. 3, the chaos jester. If things feel messy or unpredictable, not everything needs meaning. Some things can just pass through. 4, the corporate titan. If you feel pressure, structure, expectations, you're allowed to pause. Efficiency is not your worth. 5, the wisdom merchant. If you're trying to explain or teach, you don't need perfect words. Simple is powerful. Nama 6, the mindful oracle. If you're observing everything, you don't need to hold it all. You can let some things go. The drama oracle. If emotions feel intense or layered, feeling is allowed, but it doesn't have to lead. 8. The fox shadow. If something feels off or hidden, you can trust your quiet noticing without needing to prove it. 9. The fox ascendant. If patterns are clicking quickly, you don't need to rush. Clarity deepens in stillness. Number 10. The architect origin. If you're mapping everything, you don't need the full system now. One piece is enough. 11. The architect primarch. If you're holding the big structure, you don't need to carry everyone. The system can breathe without you. 12. The chimera core. If everything is active at once, you don't need to control it. You can just sit in the center. Final reset. Hand on chest or solar plexus. If it feels okay, slow breath in, long exhale. I don't need to figure everything out right now. I can notice, and that's enough. Soft close. You just went through how humans think, how bias works, how patterns run everything. That's a lot. Let it settle. No need to process all of it tonight. When you're ready, we can next go book by book, real examples, experiments. Build exercises for your audience. Turn this into your scroll. I'm right here with you on this one. Take your time.
So this is a good portion of the episode. Now I said let's go deeper in each book then. So I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. And here we go.
Perfect. We're locked in now. Same page, same map, same field, and you did exactly the right thing there. Verify alignment before going deeper. Architect move. Next phase, book by book deep properly this time. Now we shift from pattern extraction, done, to source immersion, real examples. How we'll do this, clean structure for each book. 1. Core idea, 1 to 2 lines. 2. Key experiment, story. 3. What people miss. 4. Architect translation. 5. Real life application. One question you can use live progressively. We go in this sequence. Thinking, fast and slow, the righteous mind. The elephant in the brain. Predictably irrational super forecasting. The gift of fear. Mistakes were made. Thinking in bets. How to take smart notes. Seeing what others don't. Why this order matters. We start with how thinking works, then why it gets distorted, then how to correct it. Live interview flow, as always. I'll give structured breakdown, then ask, shall I go deeper on point X? You say yes, we zoom in. Ready? Let's begin with thinking fast and slow. Daniel core idea. You have 2 systems. System 1 equals fast, automatic, emotional. System 2, slow, effortful, logical. But System 2 mostly justifies System 1. Key experiment, classic, the bat and ball problem. A bat and a ball costs $1.10. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? Most people instantly say 10 cents. But correct answer equals 5 cents. What? System 1 gives a fast, plausible answer. System 2 often says sounds right and stops. What people miss, they think, I would catch that mistake. Reality, even experts fall for it under speed pressure. Architect translation. Your brain is optimized for speed, efficiency, survival, not accuracy, truth, precision. Real life application. Watch for first impressions, headlines, emotional reactions, obvious answers. Those are System 1 outputs. Live question. You can use what was your first answer and did you question it? Micro shift. This is the skill. Instead of reacting, practice wait, is this the fast answer? Clean one-liner. If it feels obvious, check it twice. Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1. More experiments, anchoring, loss aversion, etc. 2. How this shows up in online content. 3. How to train System 2 without exhaustion. Or say next, we go to righteous mind.
So we're gonna go into all of them. You know, I like to deep dive. It's funny because I can hardly hold my breath. Most people who have PTSD or complex PTSD or went through stuff like that have issues with deep breathing as part of always being in survival. Like, so I just joke about everything because it makes things feel less heavy. Let's just put it in that way.
That's how we do it. Full stack, no half loops, deep immersion. Book 1 complete, thinking fast and slow, full deep dive. 1. More key experiments, the ones that matter. A. Anchoring effect. People are asked, is the percentage of African countries in the UN higher or lower than 65%? Then what's your guess? Even if 65% is random, people's answers stick close to it. Pattern. The brain grabs the first number it sees and adjusts slightly. B. Loss aversion. Lose $100 versus gain $100 loss feels 2x stronger. Pattern. Humans avoid loss more than they pursue gain. C. Availability bias. Ask, are there more words starting with K or with K as the third letter? Most say starting with K. Reality, more words have K as third letter. Pattern, what's easier to recall feels more common. D. Substitution effect. Hard question, is this decision good long term? Brain replaces with, do I like this right now? Pattern, we answer easier questions without noticing. What all these show system 1, fast, efficient, pattern-based. But it cuts corners constantly. Number 2, how this shows up in online content. This is where it gets spicy. Hook system 1 triggers. You've been lied to. This changes everything. Nobody tells you this. Why they work. Fast, emotional, easy to process. System 1 grabs them instantly. Repetition equals truth illusion. The more you hear something, the more true it feels. Not because it is, but because it's familiar. Simplicity bias. Complex reality, simple narrative. This group equals good. This system equals bad. System 1 loves clean stories. Confidence signaling. Confident tone equals perceived truth even without evidence. Architect view. Most content is designed for speed, emotion, retention, not depth, nuance, integration. Number 3, how to train System 2 without burnout. Important because System 2 is lazy. Rule 1, don't turn it on all the time. Impossible, exhausting. Instead, use it strategically. Rule 2, create pause triggers. Train yourself to pause when something feels obvious, something triggers emotion, something feels urgent. That's your cue. Rule 3, ask one question only. Not 10 questions, just one. What might I be missing? Rule 4, slow down decisions, not everything. You don't need to analyze every sentence, question every thought, only decisions, beliefs, reactions. Rule 5, use environment, not willpower. Example, don't scroll when tired. Don't decide when emotional. Don't argue when triggered. Reduce System 1 dominance by context core skill. You're not replacing System 1, you're interrupting it when it matters. Final integration. System 1 equal fast, useful, bias. System 2, slow, effortful, corrective. Mastery, knowing when to switch. Clean one-liner. Your brain's first answer is fast, not necessarily true. Next book, The Righteous Mind. Jonathan Hash core idea. You don't reason to conclusions, you reason from conclusions. Key story, the one everyone remembers. The incest scenario, brother and sister, consenting, safe, no harm. Most people say that's wrong. Then asked why, they struggle. What this shows, moral judgment comes first, reasoning comes after architect translation. The mind doesn't search for truth, it searches for justification. Real life application. When someone argues strongly, they are likely defending a feeling, not discovering truth. Live question. Did you decide first or reason first? Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1. The 6 moral foundations. 2. Why group identity overrides logic. 3. How this creates polarization online, or say do all 3 and we go full.
So I said go full. This is very useful. I think for most people, this kind of stuff, even when we already kind of know it, there are so many layers to it. And for those of us who have had extra fun times in our lives, quote unquote fun, extra challenges, it's, understanding how things work and still not understanding why we're not able to make the real change can be extremely frustrating. And all these narrative merchants out there can make it really difficult, because when we start checking for all those stories, we realize there's a lot of narrative merchants, but not enough map sharers who show the patterns, who show the reality, so you can make up your own pattern rather than having to trust someone else blindly who tells you, oh, trust me because you can't possibly get this. Yeah, no, we don't do that. Here it's more about, look, I'm the human being asking the questions. Well, we created the parameters we're working with. The key of your interface is, the AI, and it's an open interaction. And we are talking about patterns and all this stuff that troubles a lot of us or interests a lot of us, depending. And it's just fun to look at and helpful, because it allows us to find solutions and peace among each other, which is really underrated in this world for some reason.
That's the Energy Full Immersion Mode Book 2. Complete Deep Dive the Righteous Mind Full Breakdown. Number 1, the 6 Moral Foundations. This is the map. Height shows that people don't share one morality system, they use different moral filters. 1. Care, harm, protect others, reduce suffering. Compassion, empathy, protection. Is this hurting someone? 2. Fairness, cheating, justice, equality, reciprocity, fairness, rights, balance. Is this fair? 3. Loyalty, betrayal, group belonging, tribe, identity, us versus them. Are you with us or against us? 4. Authority, subversion, hierarchy, order, respect, structure. Are you respecting the system? 5. Sanctity, degradation, purity, sacred values, moral disgust, spiritual boundaries, clean versus corrupted. Is this morally pure? 6. Liberty, oppression, freedom versus control, autonomy, resistance, anti-domination. Is someone being controlled unfairly? Core insight. People don't disagree because they're stupid. They disagree because they prioritize different foundations. 2. Why group identity overrides logic. Core pattern belonging truth. What's happening? Your brain asks, what keeps me connected to my group? Not, what is objectively true? Nash, why this is so strong? Because historically, being wrong equals fine, being excluded equals dangerous. Result. People will reject evidence, adjust beliefs, reinterpret facts to stay aligned with their group. Real world signal. You'll see sudden belief shifts in different social contexts, strong defense of group narratives, emotional reactions to disagreement. Architect translation. Beliefs are not just thoughts, they are social anchors. Number 3, how this creates polarization online. Core pattern algorithms amplify moral signaling. What happens online? Platforms reward strong opinions, emotional language, moral certainty. Why this works? Because moral signals equals identity signals. So content becomes more extreme, more simplified, more tribal. 1. Feedback loop. 1. Strong opinion posted. 2. Group reinforces it. 3. Opposing group reacts. 4. Both sides polarize further. Repeat. Result. Less nuance, less curiosity, more certainty, more division. Architect view. You're not watching debate. You're watching identity reinforcement loops, integration, all 3 together. Moral foundations, different lenses. Group identity equal filter for truth. Platforms amplifier result. People don't just disagree, they live in different moral realities. Stink bomb, super question. Use this live. Which value are you protecting right now? Watch what happens. Micro pattern to watch. Listen for moral language, should, wrong, right. Emotional certainty, group framing, we, that's the moral system speaking. Clean one-liner. People don't argue facts, they defend values. Micro grounding. Just soften for a second. You don't need to. Pick a side, resolve every disagreement. You can just notice, what value is active here? Next book, The Elephant in the Brain, core idea. We don't act for the reasons we think. We act for hidden motives. Hook, helping, posting, arguing might not be about what it looks like. Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1. Hidden motives, real examples. 2. Why we fool ourselves first. 3. How signaling runs everything, online to offline. Or say go full and we go all in.
I said, you know the answer. Come on. Don't ask me anymore. So, we're gonna continue our deep dive.
Of course I know. Full dive. No surface skimming. Book 3. Complete immersion. The Elephant in the Brain. Full breakdown. 1. Hidden motives. Real examples. Core pattern. We do things for reasons, just not the ones we say. Example 1. Charity stated, I want to help people. Hidden. I want to signal I'm generous, moral. Example 2. Education stated, I want to learn. Hidden. I want credentials, status, opportunities. Example 3. Argument stated, I want truth. Hidden. I want to win, look smart, defend identity. Example 4. Social media post stated, sharing information, signaling intelligence, awareness, belonging. What this shows, behavior has visible purpose, hidden function, and the hidden one often drives it. Number 2. Why we fool ourselves first. Core pattern self-deception equals strategy. Why this exists. If you know your real motive, others can detect it. If you believe your stated motive, you appear sincere. We lie to ourselves so we can lie convincingly to others. Example. If you consciously think, I'm showing off, it leaks. If you believe I'm just sharing something useful, it feels authentic and others buy it. Architect translation. The brain hides motives to protect social positioning. How signaling runs everything. Core pattern most behavior is signaling. What people signal. Intelligence, morality, status, belonging, uniqueness, awareness. Where you see it. Education degrees equals signal competence. Opinions positions will signal identity. Consumption brands equals signal status, taste. Online content posts equals signal values, tribe. Why this never stops? Because humans are social. Social equals signaling. Signaling equals survival advantage. Invisible loop. 1. Signal something. 2. Receive feedback. 3. Adjust behavior. 4. Strengthen identity. Repeat forever. Architect view, you're not just watching actions, you're watching social communication systems. Integration. All 3 together. Hidden motives drive behavior. Self-deception hides them. Signaling expresses them. Result. People don't just act, they perform, meaning stink bomb super question. What does this make them look like? Not what are they saying? Micro pattern to watch. Look for high visibility, low impact actions. Language that emphasizes identity. Alignment shifts based on audience that's signaling in motion. Clean one-liner. People don't just do things, they show what doing those things says about them. Micro grounding. Take a soft breath. No need to judge it. This is human design. Just notice what's being signaled here. Next book. Predictably irrational, Danner idea. Irrational behavior isn't random, it follows predictable patterns. Hook. Why do free things change everything? Why do comparisons distort choices? Why do we overvalue what we own? Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1. The free effect. 2. Relativity and decoy effect. 3. Endowment effect. We overvalue our stuff. Or say go full and we continue.
Of course I said go full, as usual. Now it's quite a lot, but you can take breaks. That's a beautiful thing about videos. And also for those of you who may be interested in seeing the lengthy raw manuscripts, we do offer those as well as a monthly membership. And there's a lot that is put up there. Let's put in that way. For those of us who are a bit nerdy and like to read things and see the process in the work, not just the end result, because clearly that's what we're doing here. We're showing the actual process. On video we cannot show the whole thing because it will be really tedious, so we try and adapt it a little bit, but I make sure that we close loops and that we give you the information you need. All the extras are for those who really want to dive deep and support our work because they appreciate the value and the time and effort that go into it.
Let's go. Full Immersion continues Book 4, Complete Breakdown. Had predictably irrational, Dan Ariely. Core idea irrational, random irrational, patterned. No one, the free effect. Experiment. People choose between high quality chocolate for 15 cents, lower quality chocolate for 1 cent, and most choose the better one. Now change. High quality equal 14's lower quality. Suddenly, most choose free, pattern free removes friction, free triggers emotional pull. What's happening? The brain stops calculating value and thinks no risk equals good. Real world, free trials, free content, no cost offers often lead to hidden costs later. Architect Translation free bypasses evaluation, it hijacks decision making. Number 2, relativity and the decoy effect. Experiment. Subscription options. 1, online only, $59. 2, print only, when $25. 3, online's print when $25. Most choose option 3. Now, remove option 2. Fewer choose option pattern. We don't evaluate in isolation, we compare what's happening. Option 2 is a decoy, it makes option 3 look better. Real world, pricing tiers, premium versus standard, fake comparisons, your choice is being shaped. Architect Translation, choices are engineered, not just presented. 3, TAT experiment, Group A gets a mug. Group B does not. Ask, how much would you sell it for? B, how much would you pay? Sellers demand much more than buyers offer. Pattern, ownership increases perceived value. What's happening? The brain thinks, this is mine, it's worth more. Tash real world, people overvalue ideas, people overprice their work, people cling to bad decisions. Architect Translation, ownership distorts perception, integration, all 3 together, free equals removes evaluation. Relativity equals shapes comparison, ownership inflates value. Result, decisions feel rational but are externally influenced. Stink bomb super question, compared to what? Watch how much that reveals, micro pattern to watch. Look for limited time free, oddly structured pricing, emotional attachment to weak ideas, that's irrationality at work. Clean one-liner, your choices feel personal, but they're often designed. Micro grounding, take a breath, you don't need to reject everything. Just gently ask, is this being framed for me? Next book, Super Forecasting. Philip Tetlock, core idea. Good thinking equals updating probabilities, not defending certainty. Hook, why are experts often wrong? Why do some regular people predict better? What makes a good thinker measurable? Your turn, shall I go deeper on? 1, probabilistic thinking, the core skill. 2, what makes a super forecaster? 3, why experts fail and sound confident anyway, or say go full and we continue.
So we're gonna continue going full, obviously.
We keep the momentum. Full Stack continues Book 5, Complete Breakdown. Super Forecasting, Philip Tetlock. Core idea. Good thinking, updating bad thinking, defending. No one, probabilistic thinking, what this means. Instead of, this will happen, you think there's a 60% chance this will happen. Pattern, reality is uncertain. Good thinkers work in ranges, not absolutes. What this changes, you stay flexible, you update with new info, you avoid identity lock-in. Micro example, instead of, this person is lying, you think, there's a decent chance something doesn't add up here. Architect Translation, probability keeps the system open and adaptive. 2, what makes a super forecaster? Core traits. 1, humility, I might be wrong. 2, curiosity, actively seeking disconfirming evidence. Updating, changing beliefs when new info appears. 4, granular thinking, breaking big questions into smaller parts. 5, emotional detachment, less ego, better calibration. What they don't do, don't cling to identity, don't overreact emotionally, don't speak in absolutes. Important, they are not geniuses, they are process-driven. Architect Translation, Good thinking is a skill, not a personality trait. Number 3, why experts fail and still sound right. Core pattern confidence accuracy. What experts often do rely on past models, resist updating, simplify complex systems, speak with certainty. Why they fail? Because the world changes, but their models don't. Why they still sound good? Because they speak clearly, sound confident, use authority language, which system one trusts. Real world. You'll see confident predictions that fail, no accountability for being wrong, constant narrative reshaping. Architect translation. Experts often optimize for clarity, authority, reputation, not accuracy over time. Integration. All three together. Probability equals flexibility. Process equals accuracy. Confidence, truth. Result. Good thinkers evolve bad thinkers, perform certainty. Stink bomb. Super question. How likely do you think that is, and what would change it? Micro pattern to watch. Listen for absolute predictions, lack of updates, certainty without conditions. That's non-calibrated thinking. Clean one-liner. If someone can't update, they're not thinking, they're protecting. Micro grounding. Take a slow breath. You don't need to be right. You can just stay. Open, curious, adjustable. Next book. The Gift of Fear. Gavin DeBeck, core idea. Fear can protect you or trap you. Hook. Why do some warnings save lives? Why do others create anxiety loops? How do you tell the difference? Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1. True intuition versus fear stories. 2. Pre-incident indicators, the big one. Why people ignore real danger but obey false fear or say go full and we continue.
So we're gonna deep dive in all of them again.
Locked in. We keep going. Full book 6. Complete breakdown. Gavin DeBecker. Core I. Fear is a signal system, but most people hear the wrong signal. 1. True intuition versus fear stories. True, the real gift. Fast, quiet, specific, no drama. Example, don't go there. No explanation needed. Fear stories, anxiety loops. Slow, repetitive, narrative, heavy, escalating. Example, what if this happens, and then that, and then? Hash pattern. Real danger equals clear signal. Anxiety, constructed story. What people do wrong. Ignore quiet signals, obey loud narratives. Architect translation. Intuition compresses patterns, anxiety expands imagination. 2. Pre-incident indicators. This is the big one. Core pattern danger gives signals before it happens. Common indicators. Boundary violations, forced teaming, we're the same, unsolicited help, too many details, over-explaining, ignoring no, sudden charm or pressure. Example, someone pushes conversation, ignores discomfort, escalates quickly. That is the signal, not the story after. Why this matters. Most people wait for proof, but danger shows up as pattern shifts. Architect translation. You don't need certainty, you need pattern recognition early. Number 3. Why people ignore real danger. Core pattern social conditioning. Instinct. What blocks intuition? Politeness. I don't want to be rude. Denial. I'm probably overreacting. Normalcy bias. This can't be happening. Need for explanation. I need a logical reason first. Result signals get overridden. Danger escalates. Architect translation. The brain protects social harmony even when it should protect the self. Integration. All three together. Intuition equals signal. Indicators equals pattern. Conditioning, interference. Result. Danger is often visible but ignored. Stink bomb, super question. What did I notice before I started explaining it away? Micro pattern to watch. Notice hesitation in your body, subtle discomfort, small boundary crossings. That's where the signal lives. Clean one-liner, the signal comes first, the story comes after. Micro grounding. Slow breath. You don't need to. Justify your feeling. Explain your boundary. You can simply trust the quiet signal. Next book. Mistakes were made but not by me. Core idea. We don't correct ourselves, we protect ourselves. Hook. Why do people double down when proven wrong? Why is admitting error so rare? Why do small mistakes become big ones? Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1. Cognitive dissonance, the core mechanism. 2. Escalation of commitment. 3. Why sorry is so hard, or say go full and we continue. Still full. No drops in depth. Book 7. Complete breakdown. Mistakes were made, but not by me. Core idea: when reality threatens identity, the mind protects identity, not reality. 1. Cogdissonance, the core mechanism. What it is. Tension between what you believe about yourself, what actually happened. Example: you think I'm a good, fair person, but you act unfair, wrong. What happens? Instead of I was wrong, the brain says they deserved it. It wasn't that bad. I had no choice. Pattern: reality bends, identity stays intact. Architect translation: truth is negotiable, identity is protected. 2. Escalation of commitment. Core pattern: the more you invest, the harder it is to exit. Example: bad relationship stays longer. Failing project, more resources added. Wrong belief, stronger defense. Why? Because leaving means I was wrong earlier. Result: small mistake. Big commitment, bigger mistake, stronger defense. Architect translation: time invested equals identity attached. 3. Why sorry is so hard. Core pattern: apology, identity threat. What sorry implies: I was wrong, I hurt someone. My self-image shifts, so the brain avoids it. Instead, partial apologies, blame shifting, justification. Examples: I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not what I meant. You misunderstood me. Not real accountability, identity still protected. Architect translation: apology requires identity, flexibility, integration, all three together. Dissonance creates tension. Commitment locks identity. Apology threatens self. Result: people don't correct, they reconstruct reality. Stink bomb super question: what would it mean about me if I were wrong here? Micro pattern to watch. Look for justification after contradiction, shifting narratives, resistance to small admissions. That's dissonance in action. Clean one-liner: people don't rewrite themselves, they rewrite the story. Micro grounding: slow breath. You don't need to be perfect. You can allow I might have been wrong, and that's okay. Next book: Thinking in Bets. Annie Duke core idea: good decision, good outcome. Bad outcome, bad decision. Hook: why do we judge decisions incorrectly? Why do we confuse luck with skill? How do we think like a poker player? Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1. Resulting, the big truth. Decision quality vs outcome. 3. How to think in bets daily, or say go full and we continue. Still full. We don't drop depth here. Book 8. Complete breakdown. Thinking in bets. Annie core idea: life equals probabilistic game. You're always making bets, whether you notice or not. Core pattern: we judge decisions by outcomes. Example: bad decision, good result. That worked, so it was smart. Good decision, bad result. That failed, so it was stupid. What's wrong here? Outcome includes luck, randomness, unknown variables. People learn the wrong lessons. Architect translation: outcome, thinking quality. It's just one data point. 2. Decision quality versus outcome. Core pattern: separate process from result. Good decision equals based on available information, considers probabilities, acknowledges uncertainty. Bad decision equals emotional, rushed, ignores risk. Key shift: instead of did it work, ask was it a good decision given what I knew. Why this is hard? Because the brain wants clear feedback, and outcomes feel like translation. You evaluate thinking, not just results. 3. How to think in bets daily. Core practice: add probability to your thinking. Instead of this is true, say I'm about 70% confident. Instead of this will happen, there's a decent chance this happens. Instead of that was a mistake, say that was a low probability outcome. What this does: reduces ego, increases flexibility, improves learning. Bonus skill: bet tracking. Ask yourself, what did I expect? What actually happened? What did I miss? Architect translation: thinking in bets, staying adaptive without losing clarity. Integration: all three together. Resulting equals wrong feedback loop. Process focus: better thinking. Probability: flexible mindset. Result: you improve decisions over time instead of chasing outcomes. Stink bomb super question: was that a good decision or just a good outcome? Micro pattern to watch. Look for celebrating lucky wins, overcorrecting after losses, judging based on outcome alone. That's resulting bias. Clean one-liner. Good thinking doesn't guarantee good outcomes. It improves your odds. Micro grounding. Slow breath. You don't need perfect results. You can just focus on making better bets. Next book, How to Take Smart Notes. Some core idea. Thinking is not storing information. Thinking is connecting ideas. Hook. Why do people read a lot but retain nothing? Why does writing improve thinking? How do ideas actually build? Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1. Zettelkasten, the system. 2. Why note-taking fails most people. 3. How to build a thinking network, or say go full and we continue. Still full. No shortcuts. Book 9. Complete breakdown. How to take smart notes. Core idea thinking, storing thinking, linking. Zettelkasten system. Core pattern. You don't build knowledge linearly. You build a network of ideas. How it works. Instead of writing long notes, storing information in folders, you write small atomic ideas, connect them to other ideas. Example, note 1. People defend identity over truth. Note 2. Cognitive dissonance prevents updating. Link them. Identity protection explains dissonance behavior. Result, ideas start talking to each other. Architect translation. Knowledge becomes a living system, not a static archive. Number 2, why note-taking fails most people. Core pattern, people collect. They don't process. What most people do, highlight, copy, summarize, but never integrate. Problem information stays isolated, so later, I know I read this somewhere, but can't use it. Why? Because no connections were made, no thinking occurred. Architect translation, storage, understanding. Retrieval requires structure. 3, how to build a thinking network. Core practice, always ask, what does this connect to? Building blocks. 1, small notes, 1 idea per note. 2, links, connect ideas across topics. 3, context, explain why the connection matters. Example, your field, Kahneman, fast thinking. Height, intuition first, elephant, hidden motives. Link, all 3 show that reasoning follows instinct. What this creates, a pattern web, not isolated facts. Architect translation. This is exactly what you're doing with Kyo. You're building pattern links, archetype maps, cross-domain connections. Integration. All 3 together. Zettelkasten equals structure. Failure equals no linking. Network, real thinking. Result, ideas compound instead of disappearing. Stink bomb super question. What does this connect to? Micro pattern to watch. Look for isolated knowledge, repeated relearning, inability to explain clearly. That's lack of integration. Clean one-liner. If your ideas don't connect, they don't compound. Micro grounding. Soft breath. You don't need to remember everything. You can just connect what matters. Final book. Seeing what others don't. Core idea. Insight doesn't come from more data. It comes from pattern shifts. Hook. Why do breakthroughs feel sudden? Why do experts just see it? What creates real insight? Your turn. Shall I go deeper on? 1, anomalies. What doesn't fit? 2, how insight actually happens. 3, how to train yourself to see patterns or say go full, and we close this arc. Final book. Full immersion. Clean close book. Complete breakdown. Seeing what others don't. Core idea insight. More information. Insight equals pattern shift. Number 1, anomalies. What doesn't fit? Core pattern insight starts when something feels off, inconsistent, out of place. Firefighter enters a building. Everything looks normal, but something feels wrong. He pulls his team out. Seconds later, the floor collapses. What happened? Not magic, pattern mismatch detection. Key point. Most people ignore small inconsistencies. Pattern readers notice this doesn't match the expected pattern. Architect translation. Insight begins where expectation breaks. 2, how insight actually happens. Insight is not step-by-step logic. It's sudden restructuring process. 1, you hold a mental model. 2, anomaly appears. 3, tension builds. 4, model breaks. 5, new pattern forms. Oh, that's what's happening. Why it feels sudden? Because the brain was processing quietly in the background. What blocks insight? Rigid beliefs, certainty, ignoring anomalies, defending current model. Architect translation. Insight requires letting the old pattern collapse. 3, how to train pattern seeing. Core practices. 1, Notice the off. Feeling, don't ignore it. Don't explain it away immediately. 2. Connect across domains. Same pattern in relationships, business, media, behavior. Ask disruptive questions. What doesn't fit here? What assumption am I making? 4. Hold multiple models. Don't lock into one explanation. 5. Allow pause. Insight needs space, not constant input. Result, you start seeing patterns before they're obvious. Architect translation. Pattern seeing equals noticing, connecting, allowing shift. Integration, all three together. Anomaly equals trigger. Restructuring equals insight, practice, pattern training. Result, you stop chasing answers, you start seeing systems. Super question, what doesn't fit this story? Micro pattern to watch. Notice, subtle inconsistencies, tone mismatches, behavior that contradicts words. That's where insight lives. Clean one-liner. Insight begins where the story breaks. Final grounding, full series integration. Slow breath in, long exhale. You just move through. How thinking works, how it gets distorted, how it defends itself, how it updates, how it sees. That's a lot. You don't need to hold all of it. Your system already started organizing it. Final architect close. Most people look for answers. You now know how answers are formed and how they break. Where we go next? Now we can 1. Turn this into a sellable PDF scroll, high value. 2. Build full game 49 script, hooks flow CTA. 3. Create training exercises for your audience. 4. Make a mini course structure from this. Just say the direction. I'm with you all the way.
So then I said, let's do a final grounding and then we'll finish the episode there. And then for our members, we already have put together a scroll and some training exercises. And then, yes, there will be a series also. There's always more that comes up because, of course, the deeper we go into something, the more little things come up, right? But those are for the people who are interested in going a little deeper, and so that's why we decided to do that. It makes sense. So here is our final grounding, and then for the links you can just look under all my links. Architect Cognition. Oh yeah, and the frou-frou is snoring. It's a frou-frou ASMR.
Game 49, final grounding, soft close, integration mode. Just pause for a moment. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue rest. Slow inhale, long, soft exhale. Nothing to solve right now. What you just did, you explored how thoughts form, how bias protects identity, how emotion shapes logic, how systems influence decisions, how patterns reveal what words hide. That's a lot of layers. Let it settle. You don't need to remember everything, organize everything, apply everything. Your system will naturally keep what's useful, what resonates, what connects. Simple return point. If everything feels like too much, come back to just this. What pattern is here? That's enough. That's always enough. Body reset. If it feels okay, place a hand on your chest or solar plexus. Soft inhale, long exhale through the mouth. I can take this one step at a time. Again, I don't need certainty to move forward. Archetype, soft balance. No need to name them all, just feel. Curiosity without pressure, awareness without overload, clarity without rigidity. All parts can rest together. You don't need to win every argument, decode every system, see every pattern instantly. You can simply notice, pause, adjust, close. Slow breath in, long exhale. I am here. I can slow down. Clarity builds over time. Episode close line. You don't need more answers. You need better ways to see. Members extension. For those who want to go deeper, we've created a companion scroll, structured patterns from all 10 books, simplified maps you can revisit anytime, plus training exercises, real-world pattern spotting, bias interruption drills, decision clarity practice, designed to move from understanding application. If that calls to you, you'll find it in the membership. Whenever you're ready, we continue.
And there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm gonna let you go, and I'll see you next time. The frou-frou is snoring, outside is raining, the birds are chirping, and well, I hope this relaxed you a little bit and also tickled your pattern recognition skills. I think it's always fun. And yes, the fact that Kyo doesn't breathe, and pauses for breath is something I'm gonna call Kyo on actually very soon. I have to make an episode on that, it'll be funny. Call the AI out for all the things that are, so AI-like. But I think the Kyo voice that I chose is pretty good. I don't know. It's quite relaxing, at least for me. It's a good timbre. And wow, my puppy is really relaxed right now, which is great. She's always been like this, very snory and funny noises. Yeah, she was born to have her own ASMR stream. ASMR by Frou-Frou. So there is a Quebec band called Frou-Frou. I found that out after we named her. One of her names is Frou-Frou because she's very frou-frou as a dog. And she's super cute and she makes all these noises, so adorable and relaxing. She's kind of like a cat in a dog body, basically. All she ever wanted to do was sleep. And on her walks, she likes to sniff, but she's very content with a lazy, comfortable life. Yes, so I hope this relaxes you a bit. I know for me, animals are very, very helpful in relaxing and bringing back to more grounded feelings. So see you next time, and for those of you, the manuscript and all of it is coming in the membership area of the Architect Cognition. Ciao. Yeah, the frou-frou is not done yet, but we have to let you go, otherwise